Welcome back. This is lesson 3 in our tutorial series on programming for beginners using the Scratch programming language. Today we are going to be going into much more depth on our Ninja game. If you have not watched the first two tutorials, definitely recommend you go back and take a look at those, as there will be an expectation with this video that you understand some of those core concepts of um, some of the control structures in Scratch, as well as the development environment. So we are going to start with a new project here, and similar to the last one, we're going to go ahead and give it a name. Call it Ninja Game, because this is actually, we're going to make a little bit of a game here. Not too complicated, but you'll see. And I'm going to start by adding in a new sprite. Same as the last time, we're going to be importing our sprite from the resource files that I've linked to in the show notes. And we're going to start this time with a running animation. Some of you may have played different endless running games like Super Mario Run or Bit Trip Runner or something like that, and that's kind of what we're going to do here. Is we're going to have a game where our ninja is going to be running along the screen, and then we're going to give him instructions. We're just going to make him a little bit smaller so that he's a little bit easier to see, and also because we're going to need to fit a few more sprites on the screen. We're going to go to costumes. Let's go ahead and import a couple more running animations, nothing too complicated. Let's put in run 4 and run 9. And then for later, we're actually going to need some other animations. So I'm going to add in a jumping animation, jump 0. And you can actually, if you want a smoother animation, you can add in more of these animations and make a much more detailed jumping sequence, running sequence, and we're also going to be putting in a sliding sequence here. So jump 9, and lastly we're going to add in the sliding sequences. So slide 0, slide 4. So see, what I'm doing here is I'm just pulling in a few of the different intervals so that we can at least give the illusion of an animation. All right, great. So this gives us a few different animations here. As you can see, we have a running animation, a jumping animation, and finally a sliding animation. Now, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to start by adding in an event for when the flag is clicked. We're going to want to, similar to the last time in the last few episodes, we're going to add in a change costume. We will change it run 0, and like before, we will put in our timer, which will, I think we did it 0.25 seconds. Actually, I think we did it 0.1 seconds. Duplicate, duplicate, add in the other animations, run 4 and run 9, and let's just take a look at that. Okay, now that just ran the animation through once, and with our controls, we're going to put in a repeater, and we're going to run this forever. Alright, so here we have our running animation. Now what we want to do is we want to make our character jump and slide at our command. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to add in a couple more sprites. Alright, and we're actually going to design a sprite. I'm just going to pull in a rectangle here with a red background. Okay. Actually, let me undo that. Can I undo that? Let's just delete it and start over. All right. We want to paint a new sprite. That's right. We want it to have a filled rectangle. That's better. Okay. And then we're going to have a slightly lighter shade of red. And we'll draw another square on top of that. Let me just move that around. And let's make that a little bit bigger. And as you can see, we have these two rectangles overlaying each other, which gives the illusion of a button, something that's sticking up from the screen. So it lets us know that this is something that can be pressed. And we're just going to shrink this down a little bit. Okay, and I'll move that over here. And we will duplicate this. So I'll right click on it, duplicate. All right, we have our two buttons. And I want to name these sprites. Now that we have multiple sprites here, let's name them to something logical. So if we click on this eye over here, we can change this to Ninja. And we can change this one to Jump Button. And this one we can change to Slide Button. Great. We can actually go in here and add some text just so that the player knows that this is for jumping. Let's make that a little bit bigger so it's easier to read. Jump. And on this one, we could do the same and say slide. Now what we're going to do with these buttons is when somebody clicks on them, we are going to send a message. And what a message is going to do is it's going to announce that something's happened on the screen. One tooltip's up right now. It's going to announce that something's happened on the screen. So we will take an event. When this sprite is clicked, we're going to broadcast a message. And that message is going to be a new message, which is going to say, jump. Same thing with this one. We are going to add an event for when this sprite is clicked. We are going to broadcast a different message, which says, slide. So every time one of these buttons is clicked, it's going to announce to the game that something has happened. And we can then go back to our original Ninja sprite. You can actually listen for those messages. So we can say, when I receive a particular message, when I receive the jump message, or when I receive the slide message, what we're going to do is, as we did in the last one, we're going to make a variable called state, which is only for the sprite. And the state variable will be set to jump. And for this one, the state variable will be set to slide. So whenever somebody clicks on the jump button, it's going to send a message to our Ninja, and our Ninja is then going to change its state. And we actually want to initialize the state here so that when we initially click the go button, we want the state to be run. So we have three states: running, jumping, and sliding. Now within our loop, we can actually take our controls and we can put a few if statements in here. Let's start with an if statement that says if, go to our operators, we'll put in a equals operator, and we'll go to our data and take our state. So if state is equal to run, he is going to run. Let's duplicate this. If state is equal to jump, we will switch to the jump animation, jump 0, jump 4, and jump 9. Now, let's test that out. Okay, if state is equal to jump, there we go. Wow, he keeps jumping though. We only want him to jump and then he wants to continue on running. So at the very end here, what we're going to do is we're going to reset the state back to run. Let's start that again. Jump. He jumps once. Let's actually make that a little bit of a slower animation. That was pretty quick. So we'll lengthen the duration of each of the animations. There we go. That looks better. So now he jumps. And sliding doesn't do anything. It just kind of breaks the program. So what we want to do is we want to have another conditional statement in here. Duplicate. State equals slide. Then we want to use the slide animation. Slide 0, slide 4, and slide 9. All right, start the game up again. And he does a slide. Jump and slide. Now, if you can imagine building out a game using something like this, we can have obstacles coming towards our ninjas, some that need to be jumped over, some that need to be slid under, and using these buttons, we could then control the actions of our ninja as the game progresses. So again, we're broadcasting messages from each of our buttons here at the bottom of the screen, while our ninja waits for those messages to be received, updates his state, and then the conditional statements within the main forever block will take the appropriate action accordingly and reset his state to run after the action has been completed. So that is basically the foundations of making a game is really encapsulated right here in this one program. So the next session we'll be going over a little bit more details, but hopefully you were able to follow along, and this gives you a little bit of a better understanding of how a game can be programmed using basic programming concepts and using the Scratch programming language. All right, thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.